And we're back once again, coming to you live here at WYCA 102.3. This is Dominate the Day, hosted by Sadon Long. And we got a great show for you this week. This week we are going to talk about not only faith, but spiritual and mental fitness as well. And my solution for this week for you guys is about how to get better with people. See, if you're ever going to get promoted, if your ministry is ever going to thrive, it's going to take building better relationships with people. Now, there are 3 things I'm going to share with you today about getting better. Now, the first thing that you have to do in order to get better with people is educate yourself. You have to start with educating yourself, because I can't lead people that I don't know, that I don't understand, that I don't really have an intimate understanding of, because I may be doing more harm than good in the way that I'm trying to help them. For example, you look at Jesus. Jesus became flesh so that he would know what it was like to be a human, that he would know what it was like to have parents, that he would know what it was like to be a child, that he would know what it was like to be a teenager and an adult. He also knew what it was like to have a job. So he didn't just start his ministry. He had to learn first. You found him in the synagogue, learning and talking with great people to get an understanding of why humans were the way that they were. Now, the second part of that is you actually have to engage, because it's one thing to get to know people. It's another thing to actually be around people, to actually see their situations up close and personal. Because again, we may be offering a service that does not meet their need. We may be trying to give them things that in no way, shape, or form helps them get out of their situation. Think about it again from the standpoint of Christ. Christ was in the celebration. Christ was at the well. Christ was in the synagogue. Christ was amongst Peter and amongst the other disciples, and he was able to get to know them. I mean, think about Mary and Martha, for example. They said, had you been here, our brother wouldn't have died. So had you been amongst us, we knew that you would have been able to help us. Now, the last piece of that is you actually have to be empathetic. Now, most people think empathetic is just, oh, well, I really understand your situation. I get it. No. Empathy is when you actually get inside their head, get inside their heart, walk inside their shoes, and become a champion for their cause. See, you cannot help somebody if you don't care about what they care about. If you're going to help battered women, for example, you need to be as angry about battered women being battered as a woman who's been battered. See, Jesus was a champion of the people. He was a champion of their problems. He came that they might have life and have it to the full. Now, I know you're going to say, yeah, but he was doing God's work. Yeah, but it also says that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, and that whoever believed would not die but have eternal life. So the problems of man were not only important to Jesus, but they were important to God. Even the angels were like, what is it about man that you have made him just a little bit below the angels? See, we're really going to start to make an impact in our ministries, and we're really going to start to see success on our jobs. We're going to have to be able to get on one accord. And that getting on one accord will require empathy. It will require that you become as passionate about solving the problems as your supervisor. That you become as passionate as your pastor about solving the problem. So these are the 3 things, and I'm going to wrap this up for you. It's going to be, you're going to have to educate yourself, you're going to have to engage, and then you're going to have to be empathetic. And that's how you're going to thrive in developing the relationships necessary to take your ministry or to take your career to the next level. Now, that's this week's Solution by Sadon Long, and I have a wonderful show for you today. I have a mighty woman of God who is all about clean eating and having not only an exterior that is pleasing, but also having an interior. She is an emotional intelligence coach, and she is also the hands down #1 healthy snack woman in the region. And I bring to you today Emily Edwards. She is the founder and CEO of Exquisite Muffins. Let's give it up for Emily. How you doing today?
Good morning. How are you today?
I am great. Well, like I said in your intro, that you are really about clean eating. So how do we get to the point where we start to put down some of the fatty stuff and pick up something a little more healthier?
Well, as you know, I am a Mississippi girl, so I grew up on all of the quote-unquote healthy things. So about 3 years ago, I was overweight, decided I wanted to lose weight, hired a trainer, and in the process of that was looking for a healthy snack. Most snacks you look for now, they have too much sugar in it, too much fat, too many carbs. And so she actually made a sweet potato muffin, and I took that muffin and tweaked it. And so that birthed Msquizits from there. So the goal of Msquizits is 100 calories or less, high protein, low carbs, low fat, and low sugar. And I use protein powder, almond flours, all natural ingredients.
Okay. So what is that going to do for you? What is that going to do for you in regard to having only 100 calories? How does that help your day?
Well, if you're looking for a snack and if you're trying to lose weight, let's say an average person to lose weight for a woman would be anywhere from 12 to 1,500 calories. And so you're looking at macronutrients, which is your carbs, your fats, and your protein. And so you want to get so many proteins per day, so much protein per day, so much carb, and so much fat. You want to keep the sugar low because 80% of losing weight is diet. And so if I got a 100-calorie snack, even if I eat 2, I'm still only at 200 calories. And I'm not going to blow my carbs out of the box or my protein. And I'm not getting a lot of sugar.
All right. And they taste good.
They do taste good. Every bite is exquisite delicious.
Amen to that. So you're telling me I just can't walk and lose weight, that I actually have to eat right?
Yeah. Exercise is 20%.
Okay. And the other 80% is going to be diet?
Absolutely. Abs are made in the kitchen.
Okay. Now, I know that you also have a mental health background. So how would you say that your mind plays a role in your health?
I think when your mind is healthy, it's a lot easier to be able to do the things that you need to do. If your mind is disturbed, it's hard to put it all together. The mind, to me, is the foundation for everything, because where the mind goes, everything else goes. And so if your mind is unhealthy, you're not able to accomplish a lot of things that you would like to accomplish. You suffer from depression, then you have some physical ailments to go along with that. And so eating healthy, that old saying, you are what you eat, has a lot of validity to that.
Okay. So if you were to tell somebody where to start, because I know you said you lost weight and you were looking for healthy snacks, so what would you think really was the beginning of your change?
At the time, I was going through a divorce, was overweight, not in a really good place mentally. And so I decided to do something about the weight at that moment, and was just going through a transition in my life and really wanted to do something different. And so I started working out, and in the beginning it was a struggle because you have to get your mind set into it. It's not a quick peel, it's not a quick fix. So getting up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym, working out, and eating right, prepping your food, that's a big transition. And so it becomes a process. So I think I started in I want to say October of 2014. November was kind of sporadic, with my trainer. I was going to the gym. I wasn't going to the gym. I still wanted to have my Dunkin' Donut coffee and the bagel. So I still wanted to do the things that I wanted to do, but I still wanted the results. So in the 1st of November, I actually started clean eating. I didn't have to worry about alcohol because I didn't drink. So I took out the bread, the sugars, and just everything was clean, everything was fresh, started prepping my meals. By December, I was down about 10 pounds. And from there, I just kept going with it.
So what does clean eating really mean?
Clean eating is you got your grains, you got your healthy carbs, which is like sweet potatoes, brown rice, quinoa, the proteins, chicken, fish, everything is baked, no fried foods, easy on the breads because it's carbs, fresh vegetables, lots of salad, spinach. I do a lot of avocados. Some other proteins would be the protein mixes. whey protein, I do plant-based protein,
Okay.
Drinking a gallon of water a day.
Absolutely.
And so just really when you think of clean, what is cleanliness next to God?
Amen.
And so just really getting rid of all the garbage, no processed foods at all.
Okay.
So everything.
No Cheetos, huh?
No Cheetos.
Darn it. So now you brought up God. So how does your faith play a role in your business and in your life at this point?
I trust God in whatever I do. I can't see around the corner, so I trust Him in whatever I do. And Exquisites was, I've always teetered with cooking and baking. I grew up in a family. My mom cooked all the time, my grandmother. And so I grew up with those skills and just always kind of teetered with it, but never really pursued it. And then Exquisites started, and people would ask for the muffins. At first I would just give them away, and then I started selling them, and from there it just went on. And I know it was God. Nothing that I've done, not that I've been so good myself, not anything that I deserve. So whatever I do in life, I know that it's God directing me that way. And so even now, being on this show today was not my doing.
Amen.
Whatever's going on in my life, I know is God. I know that it's in His plan, and my goal is just to trust and be available when that opportunity presents itself.
Okay. Because now I know you got a day job. So how do you balance owning your own business and working a 9 to 5?
Well, I wouldn't say my day job is a 9 to 5. I work with the severely mentally ill and children in the community, and I do that 5 days a week, and that's a ministry in itself. So baking comes in. Baking is relaxing. Oftentimes I'm up at night baking, or I'm up early in the morning baking before the gym. But it's I still trust God, because if He gave us 24 hours in a day, He knew what He was doing. There was enough time in that day to do what you needed to do, to be about my Father's business.
Amen.
And so my ministry for the baking and for providing services to the severely mentally ill, I always look at it like it's them today, but it could be me tomorrow.
Okay.
And I relate to people from a human perspective. I got to see you as human before I can help you, whether it's baking or doing mental health.
Okay. So what do you see in the community? I mean, we talk about dealing with people with mental health, and a lot of times, even in the church, we just kind of shun away from them. So what do you think that we could do to help?
Get rid of the stigmatism. There's a lot of stigma about mental illness, not being educated, particularly in the Black community. Because if you say you have a mental illness, people say, I'm not crazy.
Right.
Not wanting to get the help, not trusting the process.
Okay.
I often tell clients it may not be your fault that you got the mental illness, but you do have a responsibility to manage that illness.
Okay. So what do you think, and as a church community, as family members, how can we help them?
Becoming educated, understanding that mental illness oftentimes does require medication, but the medication doesn't help the behavior. It controls the neurotransmitters in the brain, your dopamine, your serotonin. It levels those the chemicals out of the brain.
Okay.
And then therapy helps the person with the behaviors.
Okay.
And so people becoming empathetic to others. Trying to gain an understanding of how that person is. Oftentimes you have to walk through their world before you really see it.
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. So it does not help the behaviors. So what you're saying is that even if you have a member of your family who is medicated, that their habits may have been so out of whack that they're going to have some coaching and development in order to get on like a clear path?
I think oftentimes that we see our problems and we see our faults, but we're often in denial.
Okay.
And so I look at it like peeling back a banana. You got to in order to get to the banana, you got to peel the layers back. And so oftentimes when people have issues and problems, they don't want to deal with them. And so when you start dwelling into people's lives, they go into shutdown. And so you have to open up a little bit, close them back up, open it back up. It's a process. You're building a relationship with that person, client therapist, you're building trust. And so I have to see that I have a problem first.
Okay, so you have to have some kind of awareness.
Right.
Okay. So how'd you get into that?
I guess it must have started probably when I was a little girl. I had a doll, Miss Beasley, and the doll talked to you, but I can remember just nurturing that doll and just being a nurturer even as a kid, always wanting to help, always trying to do things for other people. And
Service heart.
Moved up here to live with my brother, and I can remember that I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I had no desire to talk to people about their issues. I wanted to go in, operate, and get out.
Okay.
And started working at Gary Mental Health and applied to the program at IUN and got accepted. And from there, the rest is history.
Okay. So we got an education, we got a good job, quote unquote, as they say. So why add these other layers?
One of the things my brother, who's also my pastor, Pastor David Edwards, always says that don't be afraid of change.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid that when God gives you something to be ready for it, because it can happen in a split second. Don't be so set on one thing that if something happens that you're not able to move or willing to move to something else. And mental health is it's a wonderful field. I've had an amazing journey, but it's also a burnout.
Amen.
And so, in my mind, what else can I do that's going to help people? And bacon, people like to eat.
Amen.
But educating people about eating healthy, putting good things in your body, having a more stable mindset about what you eat, making healthier choices will still allow me to use some of those skills that I learned in school, but just in a different aspect.
So the Lord been preparing you the whole way, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's talk about these muffins. What kinds of flavors do we have?
Well, let's see. I just created one, and actually this one has a little bit more calories because it was created by my brother, who's the pastor. It's called the Goober Muffin, which is actually his nickname. And it's made with honey and almond flour instead of the protein. Okay. And today I brought you carrot cake, which is AKA beef blockums. That was actually named after my ex-trainer. And then I brought the sweet potato, which is the very first muffin that I did. And I have a muffin that's a key lime. Okay. Working on a red velvet. All right. I have one that's called the Duty Muffin, which is created for my play mother, Dorothy Gaucher. She's always after chocolate. And so this one has chocolate and bananas, and it's 100 calories or less. Then I did one, it's called, it's blueberries and caramel, and it doesn't have bananas in it, and I created that for a friend in Tennessee. It's called the Yo Muffin. His name is Mario, and that muffin is called the Yo Muffin. And then the muffin that has that's closest to my heart is the one called Genoa Muffin, and that's actually the name of my other business, Genoa Services, but that's also my mom's name.
Okay, so we got a bunch of streams of income going here. Okay, so we looked at it like vessels, you're just filling them up, huh? Okay, so now if they want muffins, how can they get in touch with you?
I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram page, Msquisite Muffins. I have a web page, msquisitemuffins.com. And then they can call me on my phone or they can email me. And all of that is on my web page. It's also on my Instagram and my Facebook page.
Okay, so what would they look up if they wanted to find you?
Msquisite Muffins.
Spell it for me.
EM'_SQUISITE Muffins.
So they go to Facebook right now and put that in?
They go to Facebook right now and put it in, they'll get it.
Absolutely.
Or Instagram.
Or Instagram. Look, you got social media going on too. So with that being said, what's kind of the turnaround rate? If they wanted muffins this week coming up, what would they need to do?
48-hour turnaround.
Okay.
So if they sent me an email today, then I would have those muffins to them by Wednesday.
Well, all right then. So if you want to get your daddy a muffin basket, or if you need muffins for your corporate event or for your church event, we can go to
msquisitemuffins.com.
All right, is it less?
Absolutely.
Okay, and they taste good. I can attest to that.
They're delectable.
And delectable. All right, and as kind of a last little piece of this, so for anybody who God has given a vision to, God has given them something that they're meant to do, and they don't really know how to do it, what would be your suggestion?
if he brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. And nothing comes easy in life. So if he gives you a vision, then it becomes your job to work at it.
Okay.
To surround yourself with people, research, read, whatever is being offered out there, go for that. Don't just feel that you can't do it or that you are alone. Since I've been doing Msquizits, I have ran across a lot of other business owners that are very helpful, that are very supportive. So never be afraid to try, never give up. Trust God in everything you do. Lean not into your own understanding. Always ask Him for guidance, and He'll direct your path.
Absolutely. And not only are you doing the muffins, but you got some other stuff going on too. I saw some chicken burger kind of thing.
Yeah, I started doing some clean eating meals. So a couple of weeks ago I did a trial run with those were chicken burgers. And then this past week I did salmon burgers with zucchini noodles. The week before that I did a salmon burger with sweet potato fries that I created. And it's a Japanese sweet potato, which is like a white sweet potato, and regular sweet potatoes in their fries.
Okay. So are those things on your Facebook page as well?
No, they're not on there yet.
Okay.
But we're working on it, so stay tuned.
All right, so stay tuned for the clean eating. Make sure that you tune in on Facebook to find out more about our muffins, also on Instagram. And what's your other business?
Genoa Services, LLC.
Okay, so what exactly is that?
That is the mental health private practice part. That's where I actually work with clients. That's my day job.
All right. So if you know someone who needs mental health care, how would they contact you? Would that be by referral or?
I'm on Genoa Services, LLC. Is on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Genoa Services has a Facebook page and a website. Okay,
and what exactly do you provide?
I provide therapy to children, to families that work a lot with the severely mentally ill, dually diagnosed substance abuse, and then I do a lot of play therapy with children.
Oh, wow. So from neurosurgeon to muffin making to really helping the people, God is really using you. And I know you give a lot of credit to your brother, who is?
My pastor.
Okay, and his name is?
Pastor David Edwards, Mount Horeb Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay. Shout out to Pastor Edwards. And we want to thank you for coming on the show today. And I am about to tear into these muffins, and I'm going to tell you exactly how great they are on my Facebook page. So check in with me, and I will let you know how they taste. Matter of fact, I might even do a little tasting and let you watch me eat one. With that being said, thank you again, Ms. Edwards. We got a couple housekeeping things that we want to do and remind you of some stuff that's coming up real soon. On Monday night, tune in to The Truth Is Ministries at 7 o'clock on this same station with Pastor Randall and Kimberly Aday. And also, this weekend, if you're out and about and you're looking for a great meal on Sunday, make sure you stop by Jay's Breakfast Club in Gary, Indiana, right next to the Gary Christian Center. And if you are looking for some really good Caribbean food and you are in East Chicago or close to East Chicago, make sure that you stop by R&R Caribbean. That is owned by two of my friends and the friends of the show as well, Dwayne Rancifer and Dietrich Ross. So look on Facebook. They're both on there to get directions. And as always, we thank you for tuning in to Dominate the Day. And as I always say, to those who have been given dominion, they were born to dominate. And I'm out. Amen. See, it wasn't that bad, was it? See, was it? Hey, this is Saddam Long. And if you enjoyed this week's show, leave your comments below. Also, subscribe and make sure you share with your friends. Once again, leave your comments below, subscribe, and share with your friends. And as always, those who have been given dominion, they were born to dominate. And I'm out.